Good morning. Just beginning. Good morning, and welcome to Wednesday Wellness. We know that on Wednesday Wellness, we're facing with welling ourselves, welling your well-being from inside out, so that you can get well, be well, and stay well. We're going to be talking about being amazing. Being amazing. Our thought is inspiration with a thought of, may I be amazed, inspired, joyful, fulfilled, mindful, restored, and refreshed. We're going to talk about your being amazed. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Vibe Talk Facing the Lions podcast. Thank you for joining us. And we are here, and we're so happy to have you be here amongst us. Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much. Okay, we are here. Yeah. And we want to say welcome once again. Every day is a day for healing. We must first think about that, what healing means to you. Today, our project is going to be to figure out what amazes you, how you're amazing. We're going to be talking about that. I'm thankful for the people in my life that have opened up so many doors, such as to this podcast. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that has made this possible for me. What are you thankful for, to my co-host?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm thankful for music, because music it makes me feel amazing. So that's why I'm thankful for music.
Thank you for that. Today we're going to be drawing balloons. And I'll tell you why. Because we're going to ask you a series of questions today. And it's going to be up to you to fill in the blanks. Filling in the blanks. That's what you're going to do. With your amazement. We're going to think about this, and we're going to ask you a series of questions. But to be amazing, don't you need to figure out what exactly is amazing, right? So today you're going to use the word, I am amazing. as you draw your balloons, remember Wednesday is always the time that you're going to bring your art supplies. By the way, we have some announcements to make. One being is that from this platform is going to do some upgrades. We want to say thank you in advance for this platform. But Vibe Talk Facing the Lion will be broadcasting. And that's why today is going to be a good day if you're listening to the podcast to find out exactly how to find us. Because the stream that we're using right now, it's going to be closing, I believe, May 17th, 2023 for a time. But Vibe Talk will still be running. We want to keep it live, so if you want to be in the lives, get on to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion on Facebook. So from here on out until that time, we're going to have so many of you open your page up to that so that you find it. So that you're not wondering where we are. We're going to put notations so that you guys will not be lost in translation when this happens. Your Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is about you and for you. So welcome to our program. To be amazing. When I think about being amazing, we live in a world where there's still amazement. And why do I say that? Because there's so many bad things that are happening that we could talk about, right? There's so many bad things in the world that challenge us. There's so many things in the world that does not make life easiest. But every day, you and I have something amazing happen to us. When I am amazed, I'm filled with wonder. It's a reaction when you are amazed. It's breathtaking. Have you ever saw something and you just go, wow, that was amazing. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to see how different we really are. And we're going to reflect on amazing things. I like getting up early in the morning. And when I get up early in the morning, here's what happens. Here's what happens. I hear the sounds of birds. That is nature's music. I would be lost without that song. Nature's song. I also am amazed that that is nature's music. Imagine a world without that. I'm amazed, if you will, to think about the flight of birds, butterflies, and any flying creature. But now, have you ever just listened to a bird when it flies its wings? That, ladies and gentlemen, is amazing. To hear those wings flap. And I'm talking about large birds. If you ever get the chance to witness that, That's amazing. Now, I'm going to ask my co-host what has amazed her.
Something that amazed me recently was the rainbow that me and my family saw. It was a very big rainbow. I ain't never seen it like that before. Like, I see small rainbows and things like that. But this rainbow, it was going across the sky. Like, it was big. It was like something you see, like in a cartoon, that they're trying to go to the end of the rainbow. It was like that. And it was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. And I think that's how I know something is amazing to me, when it's unbelievable. So, yeah.
Yeah, rainbows. All rainbows are different. Sometimes you get a full rainbow, half rainbow, more color used than another. I don't know if anybody's paid attention. But that's why we say, thank you for that. That's why we say, what are you thankful for? Because each time you're amazed, be thankful that you got to see that. Because maybe someone else didn't get to see that. You know? We want to think about ourselves and speaking into ourselves wellness. How do we speak to ourselves in wellness? Well, some of the things that we need to start doing with ourselves, or we can take note of, is how we are feeling about ourselves. And all of us here have one common factor: that we want to be something to someone. We want to mean something to someone. But let me ask you this. We can talk about things that are amazing. Have you ever thought about yourself? You're amazing. You're inspiring. If anyone has ever spoken those words to you, I want you to receive those words in your wellness, your well-being. Because it's a hard fact. It's hard for me to accept that, but you know something? What I do know about being amazing is that you empower others. Something was said to me yesterday that I really never give any thought to, because I just am a human being and I'm working hard to help others find themselves. Even if you're not lost, for you to be able to say what you mean and to feel all of your feelings without having to explain yourself. Just being able to say, I feel. And one of the things we need to start saying more of is, I feel amazing. Because how many of us really actually do feel amazing? 364 days out of the week. We might have some good days that we could count on our hands that we actually do feel amazing. I saw a video, and I said every young girl, every color, every ethnic background, male, female, she, they, them should feel amazing. It was a reel about a little girl very adorable, 3 years old. While she was using good manners to her mother, in the video, you hear her say before she even gets out of bed, "I want to be a princess." Wow, I thought. Now let me tell you why I'm putting this in this podcast, because what you learn from that little girl is that she feels amazing. Now me, I'm into Disney princesses, but I'll tell you something about the Disney princesses. Every one of them have something that you can hold on to be amazing. And if they didn't start feeling amazing in the beginning, it's always at the end of the story that you're amazed at them because they have happy endings. Wouldn't you like to be like that? That little girl. Because by the time she gets to be ages 10 through 12, if she keeps that up, guess what? She's going to be the one that everybody wants to be around. So how do you fare? Man, woman, young people, older people. How do you feel today? Let's speak into ourselves. We said the assignment is going to be to draw balloons, but on that balloon, you're going to ask yourself a series of questions. After making this statement, I'm amazing. I am amazing because I am good at. You fill your balloon with whatever it is that you're good at. Be creative with this assignment. And then under your amazing assignment, how do you view yourself with others? I'm amazing at making good friends. I'm amazing at listening. I'm giving you some things to fill in your balloons. What are you amazing at? Because when we speak into ourselves positive things, wealth things, we become those things. Just as we become the negative parts of ourselves if we speak that into our lives. So today is all about wellness and healing ourselves. And so we're going to get right into it. If you are here for the first time or you've heard this podcast for the first time, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by the same name, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Catch us there, and we'd like to say thank you for the support that major hosts sponsor us. iHeartRadio, thank you. Spotify, thank you. Apple Podcasts, thank you. We are where your favorite podcast is. Check us out. Because you're going to come here to this particular podcast platform, which we have our first lives on. If you don't have Facebook or Instagram, you won't be able to find us unless you hashtag. Trish, can you please put the information up? Every morning we want to put the information up, please, and thank you. Both sides. And that's why we're going to be asking you for you to join us live so you'll know where we are. Because after May 17th, you won't find us on this particular platform, but you will find us on Facebook. Can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And by the way, we are live streaming as well. And so, if you go to our live streams, we try to make sure that you guys hear our latest podcast. We know that you're listening. Please put where to find us, please, and thank you. So now, what are you amazing at? Because we don't speak that into ourselves. That's not the norm to speak that into ourselves. We see Cece has joined our live audience. Thank you. And where are you listening in from, please, and thank you. As we talk about being amazed, we want to start with that. I think it's a good place for us to start with, being amazed. So our assignment is that we're going to draw balloons, however you want to paint them. You want to paint them, color them. Be creative with this assignment. And it's called I'm Amazing. Sometimes, people like to toot their own horn. We know people like that. You know people like that. Trish, do you know people like that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. This is not that, though. This is finding wellness within yourselves. What could you say to speak into yourself wellness? Because after all, isn't it that you want to get cured from feeling bad within yourself? Let's talk about it. Do you have anything that you want to add, Trish?
I'd say that to feel amazing is like hard for me because it's like giving myself a compliment, and I don't compliment myself like that. I usually go for what other people say about me. Like, it's like my music, yes, the goal for my music is to inspire people, but it's like I don't tell myself I'm inspiring, and that's two different. That's sending myself two different messages. So yeah, it's hard for me to say that I am amazing, but I do know that I'm good at what I do. I just need to give myself the credit. So
yeah. So many people out there, and if you're listening to this on our streamlines, if you can identify with that, tell us why. Now, we knew that there would be people like that who feels exactly that way. So we're going to give you a prompt to help you. Because we don't speak into ourselves. We don't notify. We sometimes disconnect from, I know for me, I disconnect from when people say, you know, you're really amazing, or you know, your podcast is amazing. I actually had someone voice that. Now, you're going to draw balloons for every prompt that I give you. So you will count them. They can be different colors. You know all about the color connection for those. But for those who don't, you can color any color you want. So, let's begin. I am amazing. I'm proud of myself when what? When are you most proud of yourself? And let's ask this question. Have you ever been proud of yourself? When were you last proud of yourself? Anybody can answer that. By the way, our podcast is live and interactive, and if you're getting it on the stream, you can just go ahead and put your answers. Wherever you see fit. I am most proud of myself because that should be a balloon. We're making balloons today. I am proud of myself when I have accomplished on a daily basis being the mother that I am. I'm proud of myself. What about you, Trish?
I'm most proud of myself when I do something different in my music. When I step out of my comfort zone with my music.
Okay. We loved how you said, Trish, earlier that you were uncomfortable in speaking about your amazing self. So we're deciding today that we're going to give all of you a little help because all of us have felt that way. Now, under your amazing project, you're going to draw another balloon. This is our assignment. And this is healing. Just remember that. I am a good team member because what? Maybe you work, maybe you're at school, maybe you're teaching. But why are you a good team member? What would you say to my co-host?
I'd say I'm a good team member because I'm encouraging and I'm the person that's encouraging everybody in the group.
Yeah, see your amazing self. Now, giving you the prompter is better than saying, hey, say 10 amazing things about yourself. Because we realize people struggle to strength to find something amazing about themselves. Now, why do I think I'm amazing at being a good team member? Because I'm a good leader. And I'll tell you why. Because no one is greater than me. Because I look at the potential of everyone in the room. Good morning and welcome. We're talking about being amazing. What are you amazing at? Is that how you say that? And where are you listening in from? What state? Please and thank you. You see how we're being helped? By now, you should have 2 balloons. The other one is I'm a good friend. Now there's 3 balloons on your paper. that you should be drawing or painting. Some of you are truly creative artists. We want to see your work. We really want to see if you choose to do it. This is Wednesday Wellness and expression through art, which is a form of healing ourselves. So on your amazing paper, you're going to draw another balloon. I am a good friend. Because why? Why are you a good friend? And do you perceive yourself as a good friend? Let's start with that. Let's start there. I'll start with me. I'm a good friend because I feel what other people feel. When you have empathy for other people, feeling what they feel, is an important part of being a good friend. Now, why are you amazing at being a good friend? Do you think you're a good friend to my co-host?
Yes, I do. I know that.
Yes. And why? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm a good friend because regardless of if, like, me and my friends have beef or something, we got into an argument, they can always count on me to be there.
How many of you are good friends to yourself? Anybody? Is anybody in here a good friend to themselves? Because in order to be a friend, you must learn to befriend yourself. You have to receive yourself as that. You have to perceive yourself as a friend. Befriending yourself and learning how to pour into yourself so that you can pour out. How many balloons do you have so far, Trish? For
3.
Okay, so for those who are doing it, we should have a balloon that says, what? I'm proud of myself when I'm a good team member. I'm a good friend. And now our other balloon will ask this question. I'm amazing. I'm unique because. Why am I unique? Because I'm just myself. I don't try to be anyone else. I'm just myself. Now, your paper is called Amazing, but your balloons are prompting you to find out the connection to you and the feeling of amazement. Mr. Rogers. I don't know if you guys were familiar with Mr. Rogers' show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But if you're not familiar with it, I want you to find it on YouTube. Another assignment. He always pointed out speaking into yourselves. When I was a kid watching that, I loved that show because he would bring to life neighbors and tell you the importance of neighbors, but more importantly, why you were a beautiful person. But now, why are you unique to my co-host?
I'm unique because I can make something out of nothing. Like, I'm very creative. If it's just a dot on a piece of paper,
Yes, you are.
I can turn it into a city. Like, I think, I mean, it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm just like that. I'm that creative.
We love it. And that's a true statement about yourself. And that's all we want is truth and honesty. Sometimes Vibe Talk is going to put you in a seat of being uncomfortable with yourself. You know, all throughout these podcasts, you're learning to discover something about yourself. I hope that all of those who are part of the podcast or have ever heard us, that you learn the connection between yourself, because we're connected to other people and that's normal. But what do you know and have learned about yourself? You're going to be very uncomfortable. We're going to step on toes. We're going to gut punch people. We're going to help you to reflect and think about yourself and pouring into yourself. Now, what are you really good at on your amazing paper? There should be another balloon. I'm really good at talking with people. I'm really good at that. And I can take that and use that to impact so many people the right way. And I'm good at talking to people because I listen to people. That's why the podcast has been... This podcast has opened up a lot of doors. I'll just say that, and I'm so grateful for it. So, what are you really good at, Trish?
I'm really good at inspiring people. I realize that I'm good at inspiring people because, it's just in my nature. When I see someone, down or unmotivated, like, I feel it in my spirit to inspire people and motivate people. So I'm good at inspiring people.
Thank you so much. Is it getting any easier for you to talk about yourself in this setting? Just on a personal note, is it getting any easier for you to the co-host, my co-host?
See, this balloon right here, it wasn't easy, but it's getting easier for me to express myself, yeah.
Yeah. Because when I just threw it out there and said, you're going to write some amazing things about yourself, there are going to be people that are going to be, amazing? What? Me? I'm not amazing. But you see how the prompt is helping you to reflect about yourself and be honest about yourself. We do that negatively all the time. We say, what am I really bad at? See, if we would have had an assignment, you would have had 1,000 balloons by now. I'm really bad at, I really messed up, I make mistakes, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, I'm fat. We say all this craziness, which really are feelings. But you see, rooted in us is life's pathway, life's imprint. Whatever has happened in our life, we take that, whether it's pain, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, and we start to fill our own balloons with all the negative. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to exhale all of that. all the negative. And I want you to breathe in positive. You are in the present state of reintroducing yourself to you. You know, you see a lot of people who say, hello, my name is, or when you go into certain places, you have the badge that says, hello, my name is. That's what you're doing. You're creating a space for cognitive development. Because you see, your wellness starts with what you tell yourself. You can tell yourself, I'm so depressed, I'm never going to feel better. You can also tell yourself, today is a really bad day, but I'm going to challenge this day to make it better. It's our mindset. So when we are speaking well into ourselves, we have a different response to ourselves. Now, I'm thoughtful because I reach out to people, not just here in this setting. I like reaching out to people. Sometimes I might go and surprise someone with a gift just because they really help me. Doesn't have to be anything amazing, something simple. I'm thoughtful about those kind of things. Not because I want to gain something, but because this is my way of saying I appreciate you. See, that's an amazing thing. To be thoughtful. Reaching out. On your amazing paper, to my co-host, why are you thoughtful?
I'm thoughtful because I'm very empathetic, so I always put people's feelings first before I jump on them or before I judge them. I always put people's feelings and how I would feel in that situation, so that's why I'm thoughtful.
I love that. See, you're filling up your balloons. Yeah. The next one. Your paper is amazing. Remember that, because no two are going to be alike in this assignment. Try this assignment, because this is all part of your self-work. I don't have any magical answers. No magical answers. The answers lie within yourself. So when we think about ourselves and the things that we've worked on as parts of ourselves, because, you know, there's moving parts to all of us. You know, we say, we need to get in shape. We say, we need to diet. We say, we need new clothes. We say, you know, I'm tired, I need to rest. But the moving parts of yourself should help you to appreciate what you want to work on. So if I ask you the question, what would you like to improve? What are you finding it hard? Or excuse me, you've worked hard at it. Many of you who are coming in here on a regular basis, you're working hard to improve. You fill in the blank. What are you working hard to improve? Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining Vibe Talk. We're talking about reminding ourselves of amazing things, starting with ourselves. What are you amazing at is our Vibe Talk question today. And where are you listening to us from? Don't forget to include that even when you're on our streams. Tell us where you're from. You know. So on your amazing paper, you have worked hard to improve what about yourself? What have you worked hard to improve about yourself? I've worked hard on not being angry when I speak. I've worked really hard on that. Not letting my anger get to a level 10, because when I'm at a level 10, it can be very dangerous. So I'm working on those parts of myself, my anger, my level 10s, to be able to calm down. To my co-host, what have you worked hard to improve?
I've worked hard to improve of saying how I really feel, because it's hard for me when when someone tells me, they're having a bad day, but they made me feel some kind of way. I have to tell them, you made me feel like this regardless of their bad day. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm okay, because I know they're having a bad day, and I'm not okay. So I'm working on expressing my feelings. And the feeling that I'm trying to work on the most, to improve the most, is my anger, because I hold a lot of that in. I say I'm not angry, but really I'm very mad. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. How many of you out there can be honest with yourself about being angry or holding your feelings in, suppressing it? We want to feel all our feels, because guess what? They're going to come up anyway, as we're learning in our book that we're using this year, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. Find that on Facebook, because you will find that out about yourself. Connecting to yourself. I'm a good citizen because why? Why are you a good citizen? Being a citizen of your neighborhood community, why are you a good citizen? I'm a good citizen because I look for ways to help people. I'm a good citizen. Why are you a good citizen, Trish?
I say I'm a good citizen because I treat people like how they want to be treated. That's important to be a citizen, because, we're all humans, and every human deserves some sort of respect or being courteous to them. So just a hello, I feel like being polite makes me a good citizen, treating people how they want to be treated.
I love that. And we want you guys to be able to reflect, because you've got to heal from somewhere. It's your well-being. Wednesday Wellness is all about your being well. You must start from somewhere. Start from within. That's the best place to start. Because you can't heal others into you. You can't well others until you well yourself. People say, I wish you well. Well, do you wish yourself well? Another thing that I am a good citizen is because I'm conscious of, when I'm driving for everyone on the road. You've got road rage, people killing people just because they didn't drive fast enough. People mowing down people because they were late to work and the person wasn't, the other driver is in their way. So what I'd like to say is that I'm conscious of that because I want everybody to get to their destination safely. That makes me a good citizen because I start with that mentality. I don't own the roads. I want you to get to your destination, your journey, wherever you need to be in one piece. So now, as we have looked at our activity of balloons, we have one more final balloon. We all have families. We all come from somewhere. Why are you a good family member? Or are you? I am a good family member because there are times when you have to put family where they're at. Respecting their space. Some families aren't close. Let's be realistic about that. If you've come from a space where family is not close, how do you heal that space? Because people are only where they want to be. I'll say that. In my family, people are where they want to be. Facts. Everybody doesn't have the blessing of having these portrayed families that you see on TV. And every family has their issue. So I'm a good family member because I leave you where you're at. And it's only when you want to be connected that I'm going to move into the space that you have invited me in. Because you see, you can talk as a family. But if I've invited families here, every family has had a bad blow up. Every family has went their own way. Families today, because of the hustle and bustle, they're not sitting at the dinner tables together like what is portrayed. And when you are sitting at the table together, are you sitting at the table together without your devices? Are you really connecting with each other, finding out feelings, how the person sitting to your left or your right feels? And here's another thing I want to say. When you are family, why is it that you only get together during funerals? Why is it that speeches are about families get closer? You hear all this good talk, you're hearing it now. So where is your space in the family? We are realizing that family is on the decline. There's not anybody here that would not say that. And if you're close to your family, feed, nurture that. That makes you an amazing person. And I want to say the other thing, too, is that when you don't have family that is close, you're still amazing when you respect their space. Because sometimes there are family members who don't want to be close. That is a choice. That's not a bad thing. So where do you fit in? Why are you a good family member, Trish?
I'm a good family member? I have two things, but I'm a good family member because I'm understanding, so I don't choose sides. I try to understand both sides, when they're arguing and stuff. And the other reason is because I'm a nurturing person. So my family calls it cringy. They say I'm the cringy family member, but I don't care. I'm nurturing because, I care. And, when somebody else is hurt, I feel it and I start crying. When they start crying, I do. When they get mad, I get mad. I'm just nurturing. I care for them. And if they need a hug, I'll give them a hug, even though they're like, don't hug me. But I'll give them a hug, But, yeah, I'm understanding and I'm nurturing. That's what makes me a good family member.
Yeah. So, see, we're asking the questions that people don't ask. Now, we talk about amazement. By the way, that concluded our assignment. Connect those balloons in a way that you see what your perception is. Because I want you to complete that picture of balloons. That's what your expressions through art is all about. Connection and healing. Now, you say, I don't have a thing to talk about. I don't know what makes me amazing. You just completed it. So now you can frame it or put in it somewhere where you'll remember it. You will remember things. How many of you have made someone smile? Recently or in the past? How many? Yeah. And what was that experience like for you?
It made me happy because I was doing a dance that I'm not good at dancing, y'all, but I was doing a dance, trying to have fun with the family, and I made them smile and laugh. So yeah.
Yeah. I love to see the smiles on children's faces, or when you walk into a room and someone there, their face lights up because you're there. I've had that happen. Genuinely. I've also had the other happen where when people have walked in the room, they are afraid. Because they say my presence demands respect, having said not one word. That's been interesting, and I have looked at that. We have an audience member in. Please state where you guys are from, please, and thank you. And if you're listening to our stream, please let us know where you're from. And if any of you have been to our streams, wherever you're listening to your podcast, just pull us up. Now, did you know it is one amazing thing to be able to make someone smile? Because you don't know how that person is feeling. But yet, you made them smile. I was in a grocery store yesterday, and I had called my nephew, one of them, because I have so many of them. I called him, and, our technology is so awesome, so amazing, that you can contact someone anywhere at any time on your device. So I just happened to be at a store, and it was my nephew who was returning my call from earlier that morning. When the video came up, he had a smile on his face. And I said, "What's so funny?" His reply was, "I'm just happy to see you." Because he hadn't seen me in so long. I'm so busy. That made me feel good. That without me even saying anything, he had a smile on his face. See, you get the gift of giving, but they get the gift of receiving. That is wellness, my friends. Helping others. When was the last time you helped somebody? Outside of ourselves, because you say, well, I'm helping myself now. But outside of yourself, when have you helped somebody? And how do you feel about helping other people?
The last time I helped somebody was yesterday, and it was helping my mom clean the kitchen. And it always makes me happy to help her because she can sit down. She never sits down, but she's trying. She's trying to find time to sit down, and me helping her out helps her rest and take a break. So that's the last time I helped somebody.
And I'm sure that your mother appreciated that, because I'm a mom, and I appreciate when my kids help me. Yeah. When we help somebody, it helps you feel amazing. Because again, you don't know how that person is feeling. But I want you to understand something. You don't know the person's situation. Sometimes we don't even know the closest people, like our families, our mothers, our fathers. But when we help them, we want to remember that they're human too. You know, I like helping older people. I like helping older people because they've lived longer than me and they deserve that common respect. A lady was looking around and I noticed she looked a little disoriented. And I said, were you in line, ma'am? Because I figured she was just trying to find her place. She said, yes, I was. And the girl in front of her said, I'm sorry, because the girl in front of her had gotten in front of her while the lady was standing there. We need to pay attention to our older audience, our elderly. Because when people come in this virtual room, they don't know the age. They don't know what you've been faced with. And that's why we ask for you to respect people's space. If you've helped others, be aware. You know, some people help with giving the homeless food. If I see someone hungry, I'm going to help them with food. Because I've been there before. And not by choice. You know, do you feel what other people feel? Sometimes we see people with the angriest faces. Do we think of the possibilities that they have faced with? I have been able to make the angriest person smile. Because you don't know what they're going through. And yet we all pass judgment. Because you know what we say? Why is that person so angry? Look at him. Face all scrounged up. What do they have to be so angry about? Well, that's what Vibe Talk is about. When you start telling your feelings, we understand where that anger is coming from. You're still an amazing person, even if you are the angriest person. Because once you tell somebody, I'm angry, and I wanna say this without people going off the scales and saying, Miss Nisi said that people who are the angriest people are still amazing. What I mean by that is when you uncover the Band-Aid of the hurt. When you get inside of that hurt, you're able to talk about what is making you angry. Connection to yourself. That's where the healing begins. We've all seen the angry people. But the possibility of them feeling amazing might be just the start of them saying the words, I'm angry. Are we listening? For those of you who don't live with your parents, we had a experiment in this class where I asked everyone to pull out their cell phones. We understand that things come up with parents. We know all about it. We've been through it, for those of us who have. How many of you are really sitting down to talk to your parents? Because if they're living, you still have time. Tomorrow, I will be attending a funeral of my brother-in-law's brother, who passed away suddenly. And I'm going to be able to hear people say their goodbyes in celebration of a person who is no longer with us. Now, here's a point for those of you who haven't maybe connected with your parents for months. If they are still living and they have a telephone, send them a text if you can't call them. Because sometimes parents can make it difficult for kids too, and I want to be open-minded because I am. I want to look at both spectrums, both ends of the stick. The parents might be upset with the children, especially adult children. They may feel like we don't love them anymore because we're adults and we're so busy. I've expressed some time with my oldest son, you haven't even seen about me. What if something should happen? Don't take for granted that your parents are always going to be amongst you. If they are living, connect with them. Connect with them. One phone call. You don't even have to say much. I love you. Was thinking about you. Well, if they're blocking their phones from you, or you blocked your phone, unblock that phone. Because you're giving your phone too much power when you do that. I'm talking to the ones that this situation fits. Child's mad at the parents. Parents mad at the kids. You're giving your phone too much power, but your phone is powerful. That's why it's a smartphone. So when your parents say, you don't care about me, if they're not answering their phone, send them a text, an emoji. We did that experience just with people that we had grievances with, and so many people are having grievances with family members. Sometimes, like I said, we have to leave them in their space, but it makes you an amazing person when you rise above that. If you've got young parents, one day they're going to be old. They may even forget who you are. Imagine that. That's a scary thought for me. But I want you to know you're amazing when you can call your parent up. And if they say, you haven't called. Yes, I did. Here's my messages. Because sometimes our parents are stubborn. And sometimes we're stubborn. I'm going to leave that right now. Good listening. Sometimes we give people our time because we're the healers of all things. And we think that we're healing all the people, everybody that comes our way. But now, you can't see the person that you may be talking to, or you can. Are you listening with intent to hear them clearly? That makes you an awesome, amazing person. The people that I love and that I know and I've been around, the moment they start speaking, if they say they're fine, they say, oh, I'm fine, and they've got a certain look or a certain disposition, you know what I say? No, you're not. What's wrong? What's the matter? Don't let it be my mom, because when I pick up the phone to call her, I know by her hellos if something is wrong. She cannot hide it. Be that kind of person where you have intent to listen with your heart. When you listen with your heart, you feel what they feel even before they tell you, because your sensors go off and you say something happened, or they sound sad today, or they're not feeling well today. Be mindful of that. Why do we have to know that someone is sad? Because they cry. We talk about the emotion of tears, the experience of tears. See, because when we look at tears, we automatically jump to what happened, right? Because that's a response to an emotion. But tears are not always because someone is sad. Tears can be because someone's so happy. Have you ever cried because you were just so happy you just went into hysterics? That's a natural reaction. But now let's go back to sadness. Sometimes people don't wear sadness well. But did you listen with intent to their sadness? Do you have an insight? Because after all, that makes you an amazing person. And even the most amazing person has had sadness in he or her or them or she or them has had sadness. And they want you to listen to them. Now, being a healer that people say they are, I want to make it better for people because I was like that. I want to make it better. And I do want to make it better, but this time I want you to work on your being better. Because I may want you to be better, and you might not want that. I want you to want it. So here's what I do. I stop talking so that I can hear you with my heart's intent. Ever listen to somebody with your heart? It's a real simple thing to do. And it takes a person a long way, because sometimes all you have to say is, I understand you're feeling that way. Sometimes we hear people and we see them because we say, I have eyes, right? So I can see. And I have ears in which to hear. But now you're being faced with a situation. Let me tell you how important it is to listen with your heart inside, to be able to know the difference. We have seen in movies depicted that someone is out on a ledge, right? And somebody in the movie says, well, we need to rescue them. And so they go out and they talk to the person that's on the ledge. Because we all know what that means. We ourselves have been out on a ledge at times. But now, see, your job is to be able to respond to that person that is going to jump off of that ledge at any given moment. Now, the amazing thing is you have the ability to be able to listen with your heart. Let's go there for a moment and let's picture ourselves looking at a person that is on the ledge. He wants to take his own life. What do we do in a situation like that? Because everybody thinks and knows they have the answer, right? It might be the answer to you, but not to the person that's laying or about to jump off of the ledge. And so most people need to know how to respond, because they say that person needs help. So are you going to talk that person so much that they're going to actually throw themselves off the ledge because they're sick of hearing you talk? Because most of those people feel like this: no one understands them. You could say to that person 20 million times, you are so amazing, don't do it. Well, that person says they don't understand what I've been going through. And this is why we have to listen with our heart's intention. It's deep. What makes us amazing is that we have inside of ourselves this ability. We need to discover that about ourselves, because so many people have come into, thank you, Trish, because that's exactly where I'm going. This is the podcast that deals with helping people be in their feelings. It is okay to have a bad day. That's why I take very seriously this podcast, because I don't know. I can't see, and that's why we're making a group virtually so we can see people. What we say in here could very well keep the people from jumping off ledges. Life coaches, if you're really a life coach, are trained for that. We have resources when it becomes out of our hands, because sometimes it may be. So in our last ditch efforts, we want to be able to not only say we hear you, we feel you. We throw that word around. I feel you. My kids say that. It's like, no, you don't feel me because I just told you to get home at a certain time. No, you don't feel what I feel as a mother, because I'm going to worry if somebody has shot you or the police has you and you're fighting with the police, so you don't feel me. So let's be careful with our choice of words. We become amazing people when we listen with heart's intention. And better yet, do they know that you're a good listener because you say, I put myself out there with them, my feelings. I remember a time when I was there. Because that's what they want to hear, that you have been in their shoes before. You cannot talk above them, and you cannot talk below them. You talk besides them. We have seen too many movies like this where it's depicting someone doing that. They've made comedy skits. There's nothing funny about that. Because now we're living in a time and era where people are not helping the amazing people to continue to be amazing. Be good listeners and listen with your heart's intent. How many of us clap for other people? And I don't mean clap back, because we're using that word. All these words and the verbiages have been changed. When I say how many people are clapping for other people, you say, wow, somebody runs in and they say, hey, I got a promotion. And we say, well, I didn't get one. How come I didn't get one? See, we're not clapping for them. There's a saying that's inspirational that says, continue to clap for others because your turn is coming. Do we feel like that? You're an amazing person if you can be genuinely happy for other people. You're an amazing person. How many of you stand up for people? There's a lot of bullying going around. You stand up for the underdog. I have a friend like that. Said, boy, you'll take all the strangers in. You know, there are people who take in stray animals, and we're not here telling you to take in stray people because you got to be careful. But are you willing to stand up for the cause of them and not in a riotous way? People like to go out and campaign and riot and just cause chaos. But really, when you see someone being bullied, you see some unfair treatment, do you feel your shoes and have empathy for what just happened? And to you parents, your children come home and they say, Mom, that boy or girl keeps bothering me. Do you say, I'm busy? You say, go talk to the teacher. Well, they should go talk to the teacher, but you are their primary teacher. Bullying is a thing now. It has become so far and fetched and out of hand that now you have violence in the schools. Had you, parent, been the first primary teacher and educator to really have insight to your child, you might have stopped so-and-so from coming to gun down the bully. When your schools have zero tolerance for no bullying, that's amazing. If you even look at that kid in a threatening way, your butt's gonna be suspended, or you're gonna be on reflections. Teachers, educators, please pay attention when your student comes to you and says, someone's bullying me. Pay attention to the child who brought it. Have a sit down with your students to find out why that bullying is going on. Because our young children should not have to die at the hands of gun violence, bullying. You're an amazing person when you have the possibility and the potential to help that child through school. That's amazing. Pull up your chair a little closer. Did you really key into what I've said? How about being selfless? We talk a lot about self-care, thinking about yourself. But I want to tell you, it's not in a way of not thinking about anyone else. We want you to be an awesome person because your soul says, I think of others. But in order for me to think of others, I need to pour into myself value, virtue. That makes you an amazing person. We are not born with these traits, ladies and gentlemen. Some of us have to work a little harder. Because sometimes we can become selfish, and I'm just giving you a scenario. There's many reasons. Because we've learned that nobody cared for us. Maybe that's one of the scenarios. Nobody cared. So now we have to care for ourselves. But you can be amazing. You can rise from above any given situation. How many times do we say loving yourself and being thankful for all that you have? Expressing gratitude. How many times do you want people to say thank you to you? We have so much to be thankful for. Just looking at this picture, just thankful for all of God's creation. And in case you haven't wondered, God's Word, the Bible. I'm so thankful for that book. When we put into practicality what's inside of that book, we become amazing people. We become people who have changed life. It's not outdated. I'm thankful for that book and what's in it. Do we express gratitude? You sometimes hear very selfish children who tell their parents they didn't ask to be born. It makes me really upset when children say that to their parents, because they don't understand the gift of the life when they came into the world. They don't understand that a mother and a father had to worry, had to work so that they could have the best of, even in the worst situations, for those parents who have done their job. Express gratitude, starting with your parents and moving forward. We say loving yourself. That's not a selfish quality, because most people are not born with loving themselves. A baby doesn't come out crying because, when a baby enters into the lighted world, it will cry. That cry is not saying, gee, I love myself. I'm so glad I'm here. That baby cries because it has been born into what is unfamiliar territory. So it has to learn. And you're amazing because you are the person, if you are mother or father, that has the job to teach that baby love and how to love themselves and others. When you don't love yourself, you have not been taught those things to love yourself because of your past. Maybe it's the way that someone has treated you, but you're still amazing because you have great potential. You can restore yourself and be mindful of the restoration to discover something amazing about yourself. I pause for a moment because I always want to give you room to think about you, your life, where you're headed, what you want to do. Because let's think about it. We can talk till the moon comes down tonight. But what are you getting? What are you gaining from these inspirations? See, inspirations inspire me, and I've turned it into a podcast. We want you to tell us what inspires you, what makes you amazing. Because we've seen in our lifetime some amazing things. Starting with 0 to 5 years. You ever watch a child? They're so amazed at the littlest thing. I've seen my grandbaby, scientifically runs really strong in my immediate family with my kids. All of us love science. Naturally, my grandson has been born, he learned about squirrels because every morning I would tell him about God's creation. I would tell him Jehovah God made the squirrel. We'd have 5-minute conversations. So one day he was walking out, was going somewhere with his parents, and he wanted to say hello to the squirrel. Discovery. Kids appreciate things that we take for granted. We learn from children some amazing things. If you don't like children, I guess you'll never know, but you can watch them, but don't stalk them. You'll learn something from them. You are an amazing person. Trish, I'm going to turn it over to you for Trish's Treasures. Are you there? Okay. Are you there? Okay. Okay. You can come on both sides. Oh, there you go. Okay. Go ahead and call again. Technical difficulty. Okay. We are turning it over. We're having technical difficulty. Bear with us. You there? Or you can come on the other side. Coming on the other side. Just one moment. Okay. There you go.
Okay. So I wrote something. It's called Not So Amazing versus the Amazing. And this has to do with my life. So, went to school, and was bullied, I didn't feel amazing. Before school, every morning, I'd sing the Clifford the Big Red Dog theme song before school with my siblings. That was amazing. I didn't make it in the poetry contest. Didn't feel so amazing. I helped my dad write a song. That's poetry, and that's amazing. I didn't get into the Annie play in 3rd grade. I didn't feel amazing. I made it into the Beauty and the Beast play in 8th grade, and I was Belle, and that was so amazing. Mm-hmm. I couldn't go to my graduation ceremony in high school because of quarantine. Boy, that was not amazing. But I graduated class of 2020. I got my diploma. That was so amazing. I've gotten COVID, and that was not the amazing feeling. But when I got better, I've never felt so amazing. For every not so amazing, there is an amazing.
I love that. Love that. Thank you so much. So what would you like to say to the audience?
I like to say for every downfall, there is a chance to rise up and to feel that you are amazing. For every, you know how we talked about how these people that have the gift to make a dead flower come to life again. Mm-hmm. My grandma can do that. And that's how we are as human beings, you know? Just because we have downfalls in life does not mean we're any less amazing. There's something about us. There's something about you that you must see that makes you special, unique, amazing, and it doesn't matter the size of the accomplishment, you still accomplished it, you know? And that's what we have to realize, because sometimes in this life, people are determined by the level of amazement, by the level of accomplishment. And we have to realize that once we stop looking at other people, we can step back and look in the mirror and see how, you know what, this part of me, it's amazing, you know, and we have to do that, you know, comparing yourself to other people's amazement and accomplishment, you know, it takes away from what makes you you and what makes you unique. So, realize how amazing,
go ahead.
Realize how amazing you are and embrace your amazing.
Yeah. Because you are amazing. We're hoping that for every person that has listened in to this particular podcast, that you will continue to stay on the amazing path that you're on. We appreciate all the amazing topics that we talk about and all the amazing people that come in. Our podcast is interactive. Keep in mind that if you can't find us here, we're on Facebook. We have our own page, vibetalkfacingthelionpodcast. And we want you to give us feedback. You have stories, please tell us. We hope that this Wednesday Wellness has done you well. Being well, getting well, and staying well. I want to thank my amazing co-host for all of the creativity, for all of the thoughts, because we're giving you something to think about. We will not be here tomorrow or Friday. I'm going to be graduating in a few weeks from a class that I'm taking that indeed is adding to this amazing podcast. So we don't stop. You will find us on Facebook and Instagram. We will still be doing the podcast, but we will do it from the Facebook pages during the time this particular podcast is down, because it is going to be down, and I'm hoping that they reinvent. I'm pulling for that because it's such a great way to get your message there. Thank you for all you amazing people out there with Wednesday Wellness and Thursday Something to Think About. And I can't wait to get back to Friday, finally Friday, because that's a wrap up of everything that we've tried to do through the week. Thank you all so much for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion, and look for us, look for our YouTube channel. We have a new podcast each week, so go to our page and find and follow us there. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish you more staying and being well. Have a good day, everybody. See you next time. I almost forgot. Last question. What did you learn and discover about yourselves? Trish, you want to start?
Yes, I'll start. Today I've learned that I need to say that I'm amazing more often, and it'll help me see how great of a person that I am, and it'll help me look at my accomplishments more instead of me doubting myself most of the time. And my experience here today, it was a hard pill to swallow. It was very triggering, but I did it, and I'm proud of myself. So, yeah.
Yay. And I'm proud of you, too, because you worked hard. Trisha's really worked hard, and I feel honored that she is well chosen to be my co-host. I'm so proud. Believe me. So, yes, I'm proud. It takes work. Trisha's doing all the work. Anybody that comes in here, they do all the work. By the way, we have Zoom one-on-ones. We meet frequently, so if you guys want to meet one-on-one, we do that. Keep your calls coming, and also if you're interested in being in our group, we're going to talk more about that, because we want this podcast to reach the people that have feelings about themselves. We don't want to leave you on the ledge. We want to help you become an amazing person. We want that because that's great possibility. My story helps you, and your stories are going to help someone else. Even the person that's come out of the dark, they're still amazing. Just remember that. And pass this podcast on. Okay? Because there's somebody that needs to hear something in this podcast today. I learned and discovered about myself that feeling what other people feel is important. And using that as a stepping stone to help somebody say, I have been heard. Someone understands me. More understanding, ladies and gentlemen. And I felt that this podcast is a podcast that you should listen to. Take the time, ladies and gentlemen. Take the time. Even if you already know something, take the time, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you back here Monday morning. And Trish, if you could put this on our YouTube page, that would greatly help. Because we are done here for the week. We'll be back next week. Have a safe week, everyone, and an amazing weekend. Have a good day.